This is an illustrator in 12-step recovery. I go by 12 drawings. Um, in the 1930s, Bill Wilson wrote the book Alcoholics Anonymous, and in it he laid out 12 steps for recovery, which turned out to be very useful not only for alcoholics, but for a variety of addicts and other people with compulsive behaviors that were very destructive. Um, because I'm an illustrator, I decided to try to make drawings to remember what I learned in each of the steps and how to hang on to those steps in my one day at a time walk in life. The 12 steps said, having had a spiritual experience as the result of these steps, and it goes on from there, but I thought spiritual was really a standout word in the 12th step. Now, if you're going to read a book written in the 1930s, it made sense to use a dictionary written in the 1930s to understand what it meant. I was quite surprised when I looked up the word spiritual to learn it simply means the breath of life. Now, I always heard of spiritual as having very lofty meanings. Just higher consciousness and astral planes and God and, higher existences that we can't even imagine. That's not what the dictionary said in 1934. It said the breath of life. And it's true. The root word for spirit is, I think, a Latin word that means breath. But they didn't go on from that. I dwelt on that for a while. And just to be brief, I go where the word leads me. And here it led me to a gentleman in the 1930s. He's taken a dive into some water, and then he's coming back up to the surface. And there are bubbles everywhere. But how much of that is breath? Is all of this breath? Is this breath? Is this breath? Is that breath? There's bubbles all over the place. No, it looks like the only place you see breath in this drawing is coming out of him. The contrast being there's lots of air around all the time, but it's not breath unless it's coming through a living creature, a person or anything else that's alive. And I really reflected on that. And I said, well, now, why would that be the culminating word in the 12 steps? Spiritual experience. And the answer came to me slowly, but I realized it's a one day at a time program. That's written throughout the book. One day at a time is when you'll recover. People get obsessed about, I've been sober for a week, a month, a year, 10 years. But if I cannot stay sober for the moment that I'm living in, the next lungful of breath is all I can depend on to stay alive. And if I'm going to concentrate on staying sober, I need to concentrate on what is in my power to remember and think and do and act upon. All this other potential over here is useless to me. It's what I can bring into today to keep me alive and keep me spiritual. You can read more at 12drawings.com. Thank you so much for listening.